Hello everyone, and welcome back to Beyond the Veil background information. Only this time I'm actually just doing an advert, I'm afraid, for one of my latest books that's come out. It came out in December, but I was a bit nervous about actually trying to advertise it, because that tends to be my failing in many things. So I thought I'd talk to you about it briefly. It's the fourth book in my Viper Clan series, so it's about my Viper Clan vampires. And it's called The Bat and the Snake, and it's quite an interesting one because although all my ones tend to go in the paranormal romance section, although this has got, like, the romance is important in it, the sort of aspect of family is probably more important. So it's a good story like that, and it does pull up a lot of things that will, like, there's a lot of darker tones in it that are social tones, I suppose you would say, that come back later on in one of the other books. So it's quite important because it's also, well, I'll read you the blurb from the back of the book so you can see what it's about. Okay, it goes. Theodosius Viper and his lover Valentino Pipistrello looked to be enjoying a happy life together, accepted by the Viper clan and the community around them. But nothing could ever be so simple. When the Principessa comes to visit, she brings an ultimatum. If Valentino can gain a male heir, then she will never judge or interfere with their relationship ever again. But can Valentino and Theodosius accept it? As time passes and Theodosius is humiliated time after time by women chosen by the Principessa, and the stress is getting to him, his younger sister Celine will come up with a curious suggestion that might just work. In the meantime, Elaine is waiting for news on her wedding with Twilight, when the situation with her twin is brought home, and she may need to make a sacrifice to ensure her brother's happiness. Okay, so you can probably guess a little of what might happen, but it's good. It really is enjoyable. I mean, normally when I read back and I edit my work, I get really nervous about certain parts in it. But anyway, I will give you a little preview from the prologue, which you can read the prologue on Amazon for free, just having it as a preview. And the book is available on Amazon in Kindle form and in paperback. So let me have a go reading it to you. So this is from the prologue, which is called Loan Condition. You started dressing for Natalia already, Valentino. I'm very pleased to see the roofs up and you're fixing together a manger. It's going to look very lovely in here. You have the best pine trees on this side of the Vale. You get that beautiful kind with the almost teal-coloured needles. You should make sure to get one of them, Valentino. Are you writing that down, Master Viper? I hear you've become debt collector and basically second everything for Valentino now. And that's since moving in. The region's profits have doubled, as have livestock and blood being collected without reduction in quality. The Principessa did not generally tend to visit the households of her family members. They came to hers, but quite out of the blue she had appeared to grace Valentino with her seeming blessing of his good work in his father's place. However, with Donatello and Enzo at her side, giving grimaces every time she looked at Theodosius, it was quite clear that she had finally accepted that the rumours were true, and Valentino would not look for a mate in anyone but this upstart French-English cretin. An Italian Christmas is the only suitable one in an Italian household, Theodosius, and an Italian household is nothing without family, and family means children. Nonna, we were originally going to have Dio's family come visit, especially now that there are talks underway for the various marriages and whatnot. I thought too that Countess Viper could use some time off the island after everything she's been through. Get some good mountain air, and, well, I would love you and Countess Ada to get along. She really is quite enchanting, and she speaks so highly of you, and Valentino was trying his best to steer his grandmother's opinion away from the situation of himself and Dio, instead making sounds as if to unify the Vipers and the Pipistrello completely and forget everything that had happened, especially when the rise of the Hemolacuna was cause for all the lesser nobility to choose sides. But the Principessa made it clear she was not in any mood to look at her grandson, but was still pointing towards Dio, and she began making a point that his mother should have sorted out weddings for all of them years ago. When she finally pointed out that an arranged marriage might do Dio the world of good, Valentino could not help but give a little shriek as his cousins grimaced in anxiety. Nonna, that's unfair. You know everything about the situation. You know he made it very clear it was either be a celibate monk or be with... Don't bother, Valen. I'm more than willing to receive whatever abuse she chooses to throw at me. My heart is determined. I could survive if you had 1,000 mistresses, so long as I was counted amongst your lovers and your protector. But I will not love or deceive another with such lies and agony for the sake of duty, Theodosius stated rather firmly as he looked towards the older-looking woman with the wrinkles on her face, who was determined to glower at him. Donatello and Valentina were both looking suddenly very anxious, as they could feel a firm tension spitting in the air between the two, and no one tried to stand up to the Principessa without getting buried. In fact, she seemed just as anxious that this upstart waste was staring her down, and appeared more than willing to bounce his own harsh words off her, and yet he was being so honest and straightforward she could not really fault him. Somehow she could sense that if she dared to say anything else, dear might actually attack her, and in a fight she was rather sure he might win. Right. That's where I'm leaving it there for you. I hope you found that interesting. There's more on Amazon to have a look at with the preview, and if you go on my Patreon page, generally the first 3 chapters, if they're suitable for non-patrons to read, are always available for free for people to read. Okay, thank you very much. Bye.